So this next video is going to be solving inequalities. For all intents and purposes, they're very similar to solving equations, if I'm honest. And there's a little bit at the end that gets a little bit trickier, but truthfully there's very little difference. So this is going to be 6x is less than 2x plus 24. So we do the same process. We want the x's on one side and we won't have x on its own in the end. So we're going to remove the smallest x, which is 2x, by subtracting 2x. So we've got 4x is less than the 2x's and the minus 2x cancel out, 24. And then we divide by 4, so x, because the 4's cancel out, is less than 6. And it's very similar to the other equation, solving the equations. The next question is 13 minus 3x is greater than or equal to 22 minus 7x. So I wrote that down here. We've got to remove the smallest x, and minus 3 is actually bigger than minus 7. Okay, so we're going to be removing the minus 7x, so that's the smallest number, the smallest x. Okay, minus 7x, by adding 7x. We want a positive x the entire time. So 13 take away 3x plus 7x is 13 plus 4x. Okay, if you think of a number line, if you go from minus 3 up 7, you're going to have plus 4 is greater than or equal to 22, because the minus 7x and the plus 7x cancel out. Then we're going to remove 13 by subtracting 13 on both sides. That's going to cancel out. We're going to have 4x is greater than or equal to 9. So then, dividing by 4 on both sides, x is greater than or equal to 9 over 4. And now, question B is write down the smallest whole number that satisfies this inequality. So, the smallest whole number where x is bigger than 9 over 4. But if we made this into a mixed fraction, this would be 2 1/4. So the biggest whole number that's, the smallest whole number, sorry, that's bigger than 2 1/4, because x has to be bigger than 2 1/4, is obviously 3. So 3 is the smallest whole number that satisfies the inequality. So 3 is the smallest whole number that satisfies the inequality. So question 10 is 3n plus 5 is bigger than 9 plus n. And we want the smallest n out of the inequality. And that is by removing the plus n, because that's the same as 1n. And 1n is obviously smaller than 3n. So we're going to take away n on both sides. That's going to cancel out. So we've got 3n plus 5 take away n is greater than 9, which actually is 2n plus 5 is greater than 9. Now we've got to subtract 5 on both sides to get n on its own, so it's going to be 2n greater than 4, and then divide by 2, n is greater than 2. So question 11 then is solve the inequality 7n is less than 5n plus 11. So I've got that here. And that's going to be, we're going to remove the smallest n, which is 5n, by subtracting 5n. So I've got 2n is less than 11. So n is less than 11 over 2, which is 5.5 or 5.5. And then question B says, give the largest integer value for n that satisfies this inequality. Very similar to one of the questions earlier. We've got to find the biggest number this could be. So n has to be smaller than 5.5. And we're thinking of a whole number that's smaller than 5.5, but the biggest whole number that's smaller than 5.5. So n equals 5. That's the biggest it could be as a whole number.